Here we are, another day, another video, and today we're going to talk about the loading and saving facility on the Foremost CCU. This is where you can actually change or load and save every setting on the CCU panel. Well, when I say every, I mean there's some things that you don't want to load and save, like iris. That's totally variable for each camera. But here basically what happens is when you go into load save, you just go to setup. There's a menu item here called load save. You can see over the right here, there's the load. So that selects the load, that selects the save, and this shows you in alphabetical order all your files that you have stored that you've previously saved, and we'll cover that in a moment. So you can scroll backwards and forwards on that. Now, the first thing I just want to mention is that when you press save, it saves everything. There's no choice, because it doesn't cost anything to save everything. It's just when you want to load is when you want to pick what you want. So subsequently, these are the 11 categories that can be saved, and just starting off with the gains here, the white gains, which is your red, green, blue, and luminance gains. Same for the gammas, and same for the lift or PEDs. And then you have there's sundry items like your gain dB, your shutter, degrees Kelvin, detail value, the contrast, saturation, hue, and YRGB, which are all available in the extended CCU panel by pressing this button here. So all these extra values here can also be saved. And when I mentioned before detail, you have here, you've got different values of detail. It doesn't load and save color bars, because why would you want to do that? So the zoom, focus aren't saved because they're camera dependent, as is the iris, but the black levels are, because that's all part of the black paint up here. It's all part of the black paint. So so what you can do is that you can pre-set what you want to save. Now here everything is selected. You can say turn off. You don't want to save gamma. Sorry, this is load. I mean, save saves everything. Load, you select. So you can turn off the things you don't want to load, and you can see there I've turned off a few. You can just hit the all if you want them all on, and then if you want to do it the other way, when they're all on and you hit all, they'll all go off, and then you can individually set the ones you want to save. So that gives you the toggle of both. So you can either be all on, all off, or then just select the ones you want. So if you just want to get rid of one, you turn them all on and then just turn the one off that you don't want to turn. We'll go back to that in a moment. Now, as I said, with the save, you can, when you press save, it will automatically take you to the save screen up here. This goes blank because we're about to enter text to what we want to save. But first of all, I just want to mention that if you just press the enter when you've got the screen blank, it'll actually recall the last name that you had selected. And of course, if I then want to then save using that name, it's obviously going to overwrite it if you ask it to. But if you want to come back out of there again, you just hit the top bar. Then you can select the one that you if you say there's a file called T1. Now these are, as I said, these contain every single parameter. So there's no, these don't come into effect on save. They're only for load. So we should say we hit save. We press save. And what we can do here, we can actually just enter in a name. So let's just say type in N-A name, and I'm going to call it 01, name 01, there you go, name 01, and then I can then press, that's what I want, I just press enter. You'll see at the bottom of the screen says saving, and then it returns to the load save screen. Now if you actually scroll backwards and forwards on here, I'm at an angle because I'm trying to get in with the pen so I can show you what came out of it. So now we can just scroll back here. I went too high. Just scroll back here so you can see. You can see there's that file I just saved is now in the list. So let's just say we go back to name01. If I just press save again, now you can see there's a blank screen there because we're waiting for a name to enter. But if I actually just press enter again, it'll recall the last one that we had selected in the load save window. Now if I want to write over that, I can just hit enter, but this time it'll come up and say overwrite because it realizes that you've already got that file there. Now if you don't want to overwrite, you can just come out of there, aborting, and then we just come back again. But we'll just go back and do that again. We go save, recall the last name, and then I'm going to go hit enter to delete, or so to overwrite. Comes up and asks if I want to overwrite. I can then click down here, and then it's now saving and overwriting that last name. And as I said, it overwrites everything because save saves everything. Now let's just go back and do the same thing again. You're going to go save. Let's enter a new name. Let's go name. Okay, now you see that I've missed out, so I can actually just go backspace, and then you can fix it up. So at any time you can hit the backspace. If all of a sudden you've got everything, it's all you don't want the name, you just hit delete. It'll clear the screen. You can start again. So let's just go name 02. Say for instance. Now because this doesn't exist, we can hit enter and it'll just come up and say saving because it didn't exist, didn't have to overwrite anything, and then it returns back to the load save screen. Now before I actually show you the load, I just want to show you the different modes of load. So if we come over here, I just want to show you can do loads in many different modes. So what you can do is that you can say you want to load from a file whatever's in the CCUA position, and you can say you want to put it into, say, CCUA. So if you just want to just reload one camera to the same camera, you just use single mode. You can also go load camera A into CCUB, so CCUA can then load into CCUB, and CCUA can load into C and CCU. So you can do it one-to-one. This one here is one-to-all, so you can say pick your CCU and go, so you want whatever's in CCUA you want to send to all 4 cameras. So that's a one-to-all. This is the second example of one-to-all, where you can say the C CCU position can then go to all 4 cameras. And then the fourth one is an all-to-all. Now what this is that whatever's in CCUA position will go to CCUA, whatever's in CCU position will go to CCUB, whatever's in C will go to C, whatever's in D will go to D. So this is basically a total recall of a session. Let's say you've got a show that you regularly do in the same place. When you get there, all you have to do is just you've saved, you know where you've saved the setup, and you just recall it into all 4 cameras. So that's a total recall. Good name for a movie. So when we go into the load mode, as I said, you can pre-select what the different what would you call values that you want to save, or so that you want to load, because you know everything's been saved, so you're just going to selectively recall. You're not going to do the same as save. You can select. So let's just say we want to just select them all and we want to load. So we'll then press load. And you see this is the file we're going to load from. And it displays what you've selected. So we've selected all of those. And then this is where you can select where you want to load into. And this tells you where you want to load from. So here, this says it wants to load from all. And you can see that I can't turn these off because all means all. We're going to load all values from the CCU A to D positions, and we're going to save them. We're going to then put them into the 4 CSU positions. So we can't turn them off. Same down here. You see down there it says 2, which is there. So, but here we can then change this to say we want to load everything from A, because we've got everything selected. So here you can say we've got A selected, but we haven't got B, C, D. So this example here, from A to A, is exactly the same as what I've got up here, from A to A. You remember we're talking about loading from a previously saved file. So if you're confused and you think, why do you want to load the same CSU to the same CSU? This is because we're loading from this file. We're loading from this file here, from A to A. And of course I can then select, if I want to go from A to A and B. I don't know whether you can see that very well on the screen here. The colour's almost the same. Yeah, so you can turn it, see it on, or you can just select all. And if you select all again, you can deselect everything. And say you want to go from A to D. You can do it that way. And then of course up here you can then change where you want to go from. So say you want to go from D to D, there it is there. And then of course the moment I select all, it's going to select all because we're going from all to all. So let's just come out of there for a moment. We haven't loaded anything because I just came out aborting. And now we can say, let's say we want to turn the shutter off. Okay, yeah, shutter off and the Kelvin off, but we want to keep, well, let's just turn all these off as well. Just turn all those off, and the details. So let's say here we just want to load just the paints. The screen's not actually showing you, but you can see when I turn them on and off the changes. It's just that this camera's not showing them very well, but these are much darker. So now when I press load, you can see now it's only displaying what we've selected. You can't turn these off here, they're just there for display. So so we can load all 4 cameras to all 4 cameras, but we're only going to load the white paints, the gamma paints, and the lift paints. That's all we're going to load. And of course you can then, when you're ready to go, you just hit enter, and it will load them all. And they're done. Now, I've got some presets here. Let's just say, I've got one here called an example. That'll be an E, starts with an E. E, there you go, example 2, say. And I'm just going to quickly show you up here. So these are the 4 cameras that I'm controlling. This one, this one, this one, and this one. They're the 4 cameras that I've got allocated to the 4 CSU positions. And if you see, everything's all sitting at zeros, 0, 0, zeros. And I won't go in and show you the extended things. Just take that. Well, I mean, here's one here for example. It'll load all those as well. So I'm just going to go here on example. I'm going to tell it to select all, and then I'm going to go load. And I'm going to go to load all. So we're going to go, CSU A is going to go to CSU A, CSU B is going to go to B, CSU C is going to go to C, CSU D is going to go to D. So that's what I want. So I'm just going to hit enter. It's now loaded them all. Now if you have a look up here, all the values are changed because they've pulled in values that were part of that saved file. And except for the irises of course, they're all they stay the same, they stay unaltered. And another interesting thing I've done here is that I've actually got a file here called reset, and which starts with an R. There it is, reset. And what this says to me, because you can enter these names as you wish. I know that this particular file has the camera A position has everything reset to default. So now if I want to reset all the values of the cameras to default, you can do that using the software control panel. You can see reset all, and then you can see you can also reset individuals. You can do all of that exactly the same, including copy. You can do that exactly the same on here using the load. So now I know that in camera A position on this file, I've got it set to reset. So all I do is I go load. I want everything selected already, and I'm going to load from the camera A position. And I'm going to go to all cameras, and then I'm going to go enter. And then when I do that, now if you have a look up here, everything has been reset. When I say everything, I'm including all the items in the extended here. So that's the way you do. You can set everything back to reset on all the cameras, or even just on individual cameras. As you saw, I selected all cameras when I went load. I'm trying to use the mouse on the touchscreen. So I can, if I just wanted to reset the RGBs, say the paints, I can just turn them all off and then just select the three here. Reset A is the file I want. I can then go load. And you can see now it's only showing me the selections that I've made, and it's going to come from position A. Hit enter, and it's done. And there it is. That's basically the load save, which also gives you. I'll just show you this as well. If you want to delete a file, just go back and find the file that you want. Let's go one of those ones I just entered. Let's say I want to go and delete name 2, for instance. You just go. I've got to remember how you do this. You go, okay, that's the one that I want. I can then go save. I can hit then, because the screen's empty, I can hit enter. It brings the name up, and then I just hit delete. No, that's not how you do it. With the deleting. So as I said, you select the name that you want to, the file that you want to delete. You press save. The screen's blank. You recall that name by hitting enter again. And you can see there it says the name that I want to delete. I then press enter, and this time it comes up and says overwrite, as we'd expect, but this time we're going to hit the word, or we're going to hit delete. And then down the bottom it says deleting, and it should then return. And then you'll notice now that that file doesn't exist. So as I scroll through the names, you see it's names 1's there, name 1's there, but not name 2. And if I say I want to go and delete name 1, I'll do the same thing. I press save, recall the name. There it is there, it's what I want to delete. I then press enter. It comes up and says overwrite. We go, no, we don't want to overwrite, we want to delete it. And there it is. And then we can then scroll through the names, and you'll see that that doesn't exist either. Look at that, it's gone. So now I'm going to try and edit this video onto the back end of the last one I just did. Thank you.